Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest on the line today.
That's right. Gospel singer, actress, entrepreneur.
That's right. We have Michelle Williams.
Now
Welcome.
podcast host.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be here with you guys on the Breakfast Club. Charlamagne, who would have thought? Because 20 years ago, I don't know.
You didn't like him? You didn't like him too much?
I mean, I knew deep down under the rubble, I knew there was a heart of flesh. And I'm so glad that God has turned that heart of stone into a heart of flesh because he feels now.
That's very true.
I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of the work that's taken place in his life from the inside out. I'm just absolutely happy for him.
You know how I know that you can recognize it, Michelle, is because healed people hear and see things differently.
Come on. Let's get this therapy session going on.
So you can see the work that I'm doing.
No, seriously. And I can imagine that you've probably been put in situations to where your responses could have been otherwise, but I've seen you respond in a healed manner. So, and I'm sure, you make your work environment a little better. Envy, don't it seem like y'all work together better a little bit?
No.
This guy's lying. He's lying his ass off.
He came in the other day with a ski mask, pointing his fake pistols, talking about bang, bang, gang, gang, gang.
Now listen, God is still working on me, and I was on Tidal listening to the New South music playlist, and I was just under the influence of some country rap tunes. That's all.
Oh, okay. And guess what? It takes time to get refined and smooth out the rough edges.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some of that stuff is still going to be in us to just keep us humble and near the cross.
That's right.
So what is this podcast about? What are you talking about on this podcast?
Listen, thank y'all so much. Again, thank y'all so much for the opportunity, Charlamagne, for the podcast on your network, The Black Effect. My podcast is called Checking In, and it's to definitely a play on words from that unfortunate time in my life where I had to check in. And I wasn't checking in with myself. I wasn't checking in with others. And I for darn sure wasn't checking in with God. So it's just to get my friends together and we just check in on each other with our mental health, finances, relationships, things that are going on in the world. I'm just checking in with some people about it.
I love it.
Oprah Magazine named it one of the top 10 podcasts to watch for in 2021.
When I saw that, I almost jumped off my patio on the 11th floor. I could not believe that. So I'm excited about that. So yes, that's one of the reasons to listen to this podcast. Like you said, Oprah named it one of the top 10 most anticipated podcasts this year. So,
when you talk about checking in, and you talk about your career and your life and relationships and everything, what was missing that you feel like people didn't check in? And I'm saying that because I always talk about it all the time. There's things that we just don't talk about as a community. You just got to kind of figure it out on your own that I wish people would talk about, whether it's marriage, whether it's raising children, because there's no instruction manual. It's not like you get married and be like, okay, here's an instruction manual. There is none of that. So what's a couple of things that you wish you would have checked in on before, in your life?
I wish I would have just checked in with somebody about just being. There's a difference between being transparent and vulnerable. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm an open book. I'm transparent. I will walk you through anything. But there's a difference between that and being vulnerable. I'll be transparent, but I'm not going to cry. I'll be transparent, but I don't want to feel because I really, if I feel, like that. I was teasing Charlamagne about having a heart of flesh because it wasn't till about maybe 2019 that I feel like my heart was turned in from a heart of stone into a heart of flesh. And that was me recognizing, certain unmet needs that I had, having to forgive people. What? I gotta forgive you? for what you did to me and what you said to me and blah, 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 blah. And we can't walk around talking and acting like we're light when our heart is dark. Because one of the simple ingredients that's missing in your life is forgiveness. And I wish I would have had somebody tell me, you know, we can shout in church, quote Bible scriptures, but you can be mean. And I don't want to be like that. And checking in with somebody that told me forgive a little quicker.
Man, that hit me because, you know, I've always said I feel like I'm a transparent person, but just more recently I've gotten vulnerable because I can tell you anything, you know, that has happened in my life, but it was hard to actually talk about how it made me feel, how I have insecurities, how I have low self-esteem, how I have these bouts of depression, how I have anxiety. Like that's the vulnerable part of the transparency.
Good. Yep. That's perfect. That is perfect.
I haven't gotten to the forgiveness part though, Michelle. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm still working on that.
You know what? But I also feel like forgiveness unlocks your next level. Forgiveness will unlock your next level. So if you're wondering why you're stuck, forgiveness is an instruction. And I don't think we'll get to the next level until we do that one instruction. Forgiveness is a door.
Yeah, you know what's so tough about the forgiveness thing? Even when I tell myself I forgive somebody, I still have ill feelings toward them. I still be like, man, F them though. You know what I mean? So it made me feel like I really didn't forgive them.
It's like your feelings have to catch up with it. But I think forgiveness is an act of faith. If I'm hearing you right, I forgive you. And also just because I forgive you, don't call me every day. We're not hanging out no more. Envy, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure you can say you forgiven somebody, but then they're mad at you because you won't fool with them no more.
I have to work on forgiveness. I haven't got down to that yet. And that's because I just don't want to. You know, I just don't want to forgive. I'm still on the revenge tip and the pain tip, meaning I want to see your pain.
Oh, he's still envy. Got.
But let me tell you, the best revenge is them seeing you unbothered. Okay. That's the best revenge because there are so many people that have hurt us. Maybe they don't even know they hurt us, or maybe they know they hurt us. They've gone on to get married, make money, do well. They living good, and you still sitting at home looking like you just ate a batch of bitter greens.
You're right. You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, for what?
You're right.
If you don't, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and forgive. It is an act of faith.
It is.
Because you're not gonna feel ever like forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you about the concept of checking in, Michelle, because I had two friends commit suicide last year, and one of them had cut off communication with her closest people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even though we knew something was going on, when we tried to check in, we couldn't. You know what I mean? Rest in peace to my homegirl Jasmine Waters.
Yeah.
So what do you do in situations like that when you want to check in but the person is closed off?
You have to keep checking in. I know there were moments where people were checking in with me. I didn't have the strength to even answer the text message. But just know they see it. Right? So just keep sending them the messages. You are not responsible for how they respond. You are responsible to make sure that you know you checked in. And if you feel like you ain't heard from them in a week, like even just physically, you might want to knock on their door.
Pop up.
Pop up, yeah. You know what I'm saying? You might want to send somebody to their home, knock on their door, send a that's the thing about this whole police thing. There's got to be a wellness division there. So,
That's right.
You can, a therapist or somebody can be sent along with law enforcement to make sure that they are okay. Sometimes people just need to know that you care. That message that they see that they might not respond to could be what keeps them alive.
And you'll have those officers tell you, we can't do a wellness check because the person hasn't hurt themselves or they haven't hurt anybody, which makes
hasn't been
no
long
sense.
enough. Yep.
And
which is bonkers because sometimes they do end up hurting themselves. But since we cannot wait on law enforcement to do that for us, you might have to get on the highway. I say get on the highway because maybe folks ain't getting on planes right now and take a road trip and go check on that person. I know for me, it's literally like, yo, I'm going to come check on you. I know you ain't bathed all week, so I'm going to help you even get in the shower. Sometimes it just takes a person helping a person put one foot in front of the other.
Envy, you hear that? Next time I tell you I'm depressed, you come over and you help me get in the shower.
Come on.
You see, I told you he hasn't changed. You see that?
That's right.
That man is flirting with me right now. He's a married man flirting with me.
You know what? He just wants you to know that you are allowed in his place. I think Charlamagne views you as a safe person, Envy. That he would. That's him being vulnerable. He'll let you see him naked.
That's right. That's right.
And he stinks. Because sometimes being depressed makes you stink. You ain't bathed all week. If you don't get your tail in that shower and brush your nasty teeth.
This is awkward. Now, let me ask you, with checking in, how are you going to do the podcast? Are you going to, I know you said people are going to be checking in, but are you also going to talk about your trials and tribulations? Because I think that's the best thing from, these podcasts and even the radio show. I talk about everything that I've been through. Hopefully, it will help somebody. And Charlamagne talks about something that he's been through. Hopefully, somebody can, that's going through the same thing and be like, damn, Charlamagne went through it, Envy went through it, Michelle went through it, so maybe I can get through it,
Listen, that's what I love about the Breakfast Club. You guys infuse humor, great music, great conversation, but you always infuse your personal journeys. And so, yes, that's what I'm going to do with checking in with this podcast. I am going to tell it all. It also will match my book that is by the same title that comes out in May. Charlamagne, I'm just waiting on that email from you. And other than that,
what was your toughest journey? What was your toughest journey?
I think the toughest journey was, like I said, I am transparent, but I feel like the toughest journey was when my hospitalization was made public. I was not ready for that to be made public yet. I was eventually going to tell it. I was scared in that facility where I'm supposed to be trying to get help, but I'm looking over my shoulders to say, who told it?
Right.
Wow.
Who said it? And I left earlier than I would have liked, because I didn't know. She was like, well, you're going to have to close your curtains because sometimes paparazzi will have long lenses. And so I feel like a lot of people don't get the help they need because they're afraid people might find out.
That's right.
And for people that don't know.
But I think the hardest part of that journey was because I felt like a hypocrite. I felt like people view me as this strong person. People view me as a person of faith. But here I am in a weak moment. I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe with myself. Mm-hmm. And that made me have to literally check in somewhere. But there's got to be a better way. People got to shut their mouths and allow people to tell their own story, which is why I have the Checking In podcast, which is why I write my book. Because I said, yeah, you're not going to tell my story ever again. I'm going to tell it first.
Now, for people that don't know, you were depressed. Now, if people look on the outside, and I'm sure if they look at the outside of anybody's lives, everything looks great. You're in a group selling millions of records. You're touring. You're
owning basketball teams.
You're doing so much, and things are so great. You have a nice car. You live in a great house. You're doing everything. And then what got you to the point where you're like, all this looks great, but I'm just depressed. I'm not feeling right.
I've shared this before. I'll never forget, and we've already talked about this, so it don't need to be a headline.
Nope.
One time, I don't know if we were in the Sony building one day, and I was telling Matthew Knowles, I said, hey, I think I'm depressed. And he said the same thing. And he meant well, because he wanted me to, I think maybe be in a spirit of gratitude for the tours, for the new record deal. We had Barbie dolls at the time, just going great. But I went back to 7th grade. I was depressed then. Mm-hmm. So the music industry and all these things didn't make me depressed. It wore me out. And I went undiagnosed until I was in my 30s.
And what made you depressed? 20s, what made you depressed in 7th grade? And the reason I'm cutting you off is there's a lot of parents that have kids that don't know the
Yeah.
sign. So when, like, I have 5, Charlamagne has 3. So I always I'm looking for a sign so I could hopefully try to be on top of it. So what made you depressed at 7th grade?
Well, the tricky thing is I thought I was just going through puberty, that it was growing pains, isolation, failing grades, not wanting to do things. And some of those, and maybe being irritable. But as I'm growing, I'm as into my womanhood. So my parents probably thought, oh, she just moody because she finna get her period.
Right.
Or you can have a son and you might feel, he feeling himself. He got a little girl at school that like him, so he want to come home and act cool. He don't want to be around mommy and daddy no more. But I really feel like check in. How you really doing? Because I know you feeling yourself. Are you having a good day at school today? Is there anything that I need to know? We create a safe place for them to answer and come to you. You have to create the safe place. I can't make you trust me, but I can create a safe place for you to trust me.
How does
talk to me?
How does you talk about how the spotlight impacted you, but how did social media impact you? Because you was popping before social media, but then social media comes along. How did that impact you and impact your situation?
Social media sometimes can be the devil. I feel like it's gotten a little better. I feel like people don't try me anymore. But for a while, it was bad. It was bad, but it's like, well, that's what comes with it. Mm-hmm. That don't make it right. Mm-hmm. That don't mean I don't feel it. That don't mean I didn't want to be liked or accepted or your fave. But it's like, God is still good to me. I'm still thriving. I don't want for anything while y'all were still talking and being mean on social media.
Got you.
What about?
I'm good. What you doing, bruh? What are you doing, young lady? Tune in to Checking In with Michelle Williams every Tuesday. Come on now. That's what you need to do.
My Sacred Purpose coach told me, she said that social media is full of people with wounded ego. And so when they come in at you, they're projecting their hurt and their insecurities onto you.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. And social media is like liquor. For some reason, alcohol gives you courage to say things or do things that you normally wouldn't do sober. Mm-hmm. So I don't think a lot of people are on social media with a sober mind anyway. And so I don't want to come make a judgment from a seat of pride or anything, but I would never fix my fingers to say something to somebody on social media. If when I don't like something, y'all know that move. Mm-hmm. You just keep scrolling up. I don't have to tell you I don't like that outfit today. I don't have to tell you, you know what? I don't like what you said. So what? I just keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I wonder too, when you talk about your celebrity, did constantly being compared to the other 2 members of Destiny's Child, Beyonce and Kelly, did that affect you? Your mental health or anything, or emotional well-being over the years?
I wouldn't say that it affected me to where it made me depressed. It was just, I really didn't understand. I remember somebody said, you will never be Beyonce. That is true. Because the last time I looked at my birth certificate, it said, Tanisha Michelle Williams, born to the parents of Anita Williams and Dennis Williams. That's right. Yep. So you're right. You're right. I have never had a desire to be anybody other than me. Do I admire everything that my singing sisters have accomplished? Do I support them? That is why we're so cool today. And we go on trips that people don't know about to this day, because I don't care to be that. Mm-hmm. I am so secure in who I am. But I do feel like I was irritated because I wanted people to see me for me.
Right.
That's for sure. Don't compare Kelly to B. Don't compare B to Kelly or me. You are correct. We will never be each other. First of all, my name says that.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, we live in an era where you do have to constantly remind people they not Beyonce. Like everybody thinks they're Beyonce. You gotta, you always gotta remind people they not. There's only one Beyonce. That's just,
to us, I understand what you're saying, but to tell me that because do you think that I'm trying to be? That's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm an individual. I have my own name. I have my own purpose. I rock the way I rock in that group, the way I want to rock.
And you mentioned your father. Rest in peace to your father. Condolences to your family.
By the way, y'all should put this at the front of the interview just in case my mom don't listen to the entire interview. But the other day she said, make sure you tell Charlamagne and them thank you for these flowers. I said, yes, ma'am. So thank you so much, you guys, for the love and the support of my dad. I miss him so much. I had a moment the other day, grief will come when you least expect it. I was drinking a smoothie in my kitchen and I just started weeping because I miss him. I miss his laughter. I miss, he was a fighter. For the past 15 years, he was really incapacitated. And my mother stood by that man's side. And so he loved music. And I'm glad that he was able to see me do what I do. One time I said, now, Dad, you can't die until I walk down the aisle. And he was like, I tried to wait, but you don't act right.
That ain't funny, but it's funny. Yes.
So he went on ahead and peaced out. He was like, I gave you, you missed it, baby. I gotta go.
Now,
tried.
Do you look at that as a sign? He like, man, it ain't happening for you. I'm out.
It ain't happening. And even with that, sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I'm gonna just be Oprah, and I'm okay with that. Well, not really, but
I saw the outpouring of love that you were showing your father, and it made me think as a father, that's the kind of impact I want to have on my daughter. So what did he do to you and for you that he just had that kind of impact on you?
Well, we didn't always have perfect moments. There are times where my dad upset me greatly. But he was honest in everything that he did. He did not care what you thought of him. When it came time to figure out what we were going to put him in for the day of his funeral, he had this purple suit or this royal blue suit. These pimp colors. And I'm like, he did not care what you thought of him. My daddy was so cool. He was nice to everybody he met. And, if you offended him, he'd give you the middle finger. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do, but I appreciate him for his honesty and however he felt about you that day, you definitely knew it. But the majority was definitely love, and I pray he felt that as he transitioned.
Michelle, what does ultimate healing look like for you?
Ooh, ultimate healing for me is 100% unbothered. And if we can get to that place where can you really say you're unbothered? But I don't know if we'll ever be unbothered as long as you have a heart.
Right.
You're going to deal with people who have betrayed you. You're going to deal with people who have no business even being in your space, even in your breathing space. Some people I don't even want to talk to because I feel like my breath is an investment. But sometimes you have to be humble. And ultimate healing for me is to just, I've been hearing this word gratitude. But I think I really know what that means now, because this stuff can be taken away immediately.
Absolutely.
What made you finally get to that place where you know what gratitude means?
Gosh, how do I say this? The fact of me even wanting to end my life, but God wouldn't let it be so. The actual act of it, and I'm still here, lets me know, okay, don't ever do that again. You do have purpose. Walk this thing out. You are impacting people in your own way. People need what I have. Charlamagne, people need what you have. Envy, people need what you have. Breakfast Club, people need what you have. Sometimes you guys are their only church. For those who don't go to church or fool with religion. So thank you guys so much for even certain changes even made in your content and your broadcast, you know.
I look forward to this podcast.
It's out. Like checking in. I don't know if y'all been checking in, but
I haven't been. I look forward to it.
Yeah,
every Tuesday on the Black
Tuesday.
Effect.
That's right,
On
Michelle.
iHeart or wherever you get your podcast.
Michelle done sat down with Dr. Oz. My favorite episode so far has been with Sarah Jake Roberts.
Word.
Oh, I love Sarah Jake Roberts. She's incredible.
Listen, you got to Bakari Sellers I think it's gonna be next week.
I
Tune
heard.
into that. That thing flowed like water.
I heard. I like the one with June Ambrose. I love June Ambrose. She's incredible as well too.
Thank you for listening.
Yes, come on. Listen, the thing is, right? As crazy as it sounds, even though we're partners on checking in, and it's on the Black Effect, I need that. I need these mindfulness podcasts. I need checking in with Michelle Williams. I need dropping gems with Debbie Brown. I need therapy for Black girls. Like I need these podcasts in my life. They help me.
That's dope.
Come on. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity and for the usage of your platform. I appreciate you so much. I really, really do. I'm thankful for your growth. Envy said he's thankful for your growth. He went like that to let me know.
He has growth. I mess with him all day, but most people don't understand because everybody always asks, how is it working with Charlamagne, right? And I always say he's an asshole, right? But I don't really mean it. He's been the same person to me from beginning. Like, we joke, we play, we support each other. There is no change to me. Now, to the outside world, I've seen the change, you know what I mean? But to me, he's always been the same person, you know what I mean? Somebody you could punch, you could kick, but you could help pick up. You could hug from the back. Like, he's been that person.
Oh, the hug from the back.
You know, and I about can say that too. It's not that Charlamagne ever said anything rude to me. I don't know if he's ever said anything rude about me.
Oh, he said some rude stuff about me, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm telling you, I think it was somewhere maybe on the actual TV show of Wendy Williams where I felt like I said, wait a minute, I see Charlamagne's true heart for real. I really did.
I remember that. I do remember. And you know what? Somebody had videotaped that. I don't even know what made you randomly say that. Like, it was like God, it was like you just randomly started talking about that. I remember that.
I really, really did. You can see the best in people, the good in people. And then a person's environment, when that changes, man, you're out of here. Well, you're out of here. So.
I appreciate that, Tenitra. I appreciate you so much just for telling your story, because I always say in order to help eradicate the stigma around mental health in our community, the Black community, people got to tell their stories, and you've been very, very vulnerable about yours.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all so much. Envy, love you and your family and all that you guys are up to. And
thank you.
And when's the book dropping? Angela, what's the date? What's the date of the book?
May 25th.
May 25th.
It comes out. I literally have to sign thousands of these inserts to. I think Barnes and Nobles, they're getting a special edition of signed copies. So that's what y'all. I got my Ivy Park on. I'm chilling in my checking in room, and I'm just gonna sign away. So
hey,
all right. Breakfast Club is Michelle Williams. Thank you so
Michelle.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah.